So it is coming actually at a very difficult time for us. We are trying to turn things around. We are trying to create a better economy for the people. But we are faced with all these legacy problems that are left behind by the previous government. So the timing of the trade war, the timing of the global economic slowdown cannot come at the worst time for us. But at the same time, it actually potentially could be a long-term, a very long-term blessing in disguise for Malaysia. Now what has happened and one of the consequences of trade war in the world today is there's a supply chain disruption. It used to be everyone treated China as the manufacturing hub of the world. Anyone who creates products, wants to sell to the world, will set up their factories in China. Now that assumption, that dictum has now been vanished. Companies are now desperately trying to find new places to set up their factories, new sites to build their plants in order to diversify their risk from China. And this will happen regardless of whether in the coming weeks China and United States, whether they resolve the trade conflict or otherwise. Whether they agree on a solution or they continue not to agree, irrelevant. The supply chain has been disrupted because now nobody knows, nobody dare to say for certain, even if there's an agreement, 1 year later, the next president or the same President Trump will not call for another trade war. So everyone wants to diversify their risk, everyone is moving their factories out of China, whether it is Chinese companies, or American companies or other European companies. And Malaysia thankfully stands to benefit from such trade diversions. And we are seeing that trade diversion, or rather the investment diversion coming to Malaysia. Last year was our record foreign direct investment approval numbers. We achieved record numbers last year that increased by more than 50%, where the foreign direct investments actually increased by more than 100%, and investment from China, proposed investment from China, actually went up 4 times or 400%. And it continued in the first quarter this year, with the foreign direct investment applications went up by 73%, of which the manufacturing industry applications went up by 127%. The unfortunate thing that kept the increase at a minimal level overall is the fact that our local manufacturers are not investing enough. So their proposed investments have gone down. The proposed investments from foreign investors have gone up by a lot to compensate for the decline in domestic direct investments. But I see this as a good thing. Their proposed investments are not going to bear fruit immediately in the economy today. What is approved last year, they might come in later this year or the year after. What is approved in this current quarter, they might come in November, December or next year. So we will not see the direct fruits of such investments immediately. There is a time lag. But what we see is that this is an opportunity for Malaysia to set a new economic growth trajectory for ourselves. We remember the 80s, the 90s, where a whole slew of manufacturers came to Malaysia to set up base. People like Western Digital, people like Intel, people like HP, people like Dell, they came to Malaysia and helped Malaysia on the first phase of industrialization growth. And after that, we sort of plateaued over the past decade. Now this is an opportunity where a new wave of investments, significant amount of investments comes into Malaysia after 5 years, 10 years, when the global economic growth resumes and normalizes, and it will resume and normalize. Malaysia is then placed in the perfect position to leverage on the new growth with our new supply base to create new levels of wealth for this country. And that's something I'm very, very optimistic, and that's something I'm very, very convinced about. I'm convinced that global economy always recovers. In the worst of the Asian financial crisis, when everyone was in panic mode and the Bursa Malaysia was sold down to, I think, 280 points, a year later, the economy recovered. The global financial crisis of 2009, measures were taken to solve the conflict and the problems, and by 2010, the stock markets, the economy was once again blooming. So the same thing will happen for the current slowdown in the global growth cycle. We believe that the central bankers, the economic planners around the world will not sit still to allow the economy to go into a standstill. Measures will be taken and growth will resume. And I believe that once growth resumes with a new supply chain, Malaysia will once again be perfectly placed to ride ourselves into a new, what I call a new growth trajectory. This is something we are working very hard on. Tomorrow evening, I'm flying off with my minister and a delegation from Ministry of Finance and from Ministry of International Trade to go to China again to meet some of the largest companies there, to call them to come to Malaysia, to tell them that Malaysia is the best place for them to invest because we are friendly to both Chinese and the Americans. We speak Chinese and we speak English. You go to Thailand, you don't know how to talk to them. You go to Indonesia, you have problems conversing with them. You come to Malaysia, no problem, and we have great food. So these are the things we are working very hard, and we believe that this will actually make a huge difference to Malaysia's economy in the future. This is an area that we are working very hard on. There are several other policies that we're working on. I don't really want to bore you with the details tonight, but look out for the budget that the Finance Minister will be announcing on October 11th this year. We have several new measures to deal with employment, to deal with fiber optics and 5G, to deal with small medium industries, to help them overcome the current difficulties as well as to prepare them to take advantage of the future turnaround in the global economy going forward. So these are things that we are working very hard on. I'm very optimistic for Malaysia. If not for anything, even if it is not for anything that I've mentioned over the past 20 minutes or 25 minutes in my speech, I'm optimistic because when we look at Malaysia, everyone tells us that Malaysia is blessed. Even under the previous government, where we know corruption was a disease that was essentially incapacitating the country, that was growing. It's like a cancerous cell that was spreading throughout the body, causing Malaysia to become weaker and weaker. And yet, despite the corruption that was present, despite becoming the what we call the global kleptocracy capital of the world, Malaysia's economy always does reasonably well relative to many of the other developing countries. Even in the worst of times, we grow 4.5%, 4.3%, better than many, many other countries. So we are very blessed. So my view is, if such a corrupt government, we can still grow 4%, 5% every year. Surely, with a clean government, with a government that is determined to clean up the act, with a government that is focused on transparency, accountability, and competency, even if we don't have the brightest brains in cabinet, last time they weren't very bright either, as long as you don't steal money from the people and put them into your own pockets, you can never go far wrong. And I'm sure, given all things equal, with a new clean government, an accountable government, a transparent government, we will automatically do much, much better than the previous regime. So for the good doctors out here, we love talking to doctors. Politicians love talking to doctors because you meet patients every day. And you need to do small talk with them. And you are, to some extent, our conduit to the man on the street. You meet people, whether they are rich or they are poor, they all have to come and see you. So we do call for those that are a bit frustrated for a little bit of patience. We do call for a little bit of understanding as we go through and sift through the problems we face today. Many other problems I didn't get to talk about, Tabung Haji lah, LTAT lah, FELDA lah, many other problems. But we are resolving them step by step. It will take some time. As my minister always says, give us 3 years to resolve these problems. And I am sure Malaysia is ready, is primed for a bright road ahead going forward. Thank you so much for having me here once again. As I mentioned to MMA all the time, if you have any issues or any needs that you have, our doors are open. My phone numbers have been given to all the committee members who have met me previously, and they are able to reach me for any issues that they need to be resolved going forward. Thank you so much once again.